I quit my software engineering job at Adobe back in 2010 to work for myself. And I had always considered myself a very productive and organized person. Up until that point, I had never struggled with procrastination or knowing what I wanted. But suddenly it was so much harder. I was facing completely new productivity challenges. Things like procrastination, which I was familiar with, but it had never been so hard to overcome. Totally new challenges, like having 100 things that really should be done soon, but nothing that actually has to get done today. That contracting business that I started in 2010 morphed into a productivity software company that I have been running for 10 years now. And as you may have noticed, I also make productivity and organization YouTube videos. So I spend a lot of time thinking about and studying productivity. And I can honestly say now, I have completely overcome those challenges that hit me like a slap in the face 13 years ago when I first started working for myself. So here are 5 tips for anyone just starting out down that path of self-employment or entrepreneurship. Learning a tip won't actually make you productive, but listening and hearing them might give you the language to understand something you've been struggling with, but not really able to identify because it's new. And then hopefully these tips and that new self-awareness will give you the tools you need so you can overcome it. Tip number 1 is don't act like your time is invaluable. You can't have it both ways. You can't say, I'm starting this new business that I'm gonna work 40 hours a week on, and I don't have a 9 to 5 anymore, so I can say yes to whatever, whenever I want. Just because you're not gonna get fired if you take the day off to do something for someone else doesn't mean you have to, or that you even should treat your workday like it's not something important. This connects really well to tip number 2. Don't think you have more than 24 hours in a day. Now that you're self-employed, your time is really flexible. Flexible time feels like more time than structured time, but it's not. So if you were thinking that now that you're self-employed, you're gonna have time for exercising and cooking more and seeing friends and all the things you couldn't find time for before, it's not actually true. Unless your new business is a part-time venture, it's just not true that you will have more time now. And starting a new business is not a part-time venture. It is a big commitment with a lot to do. I mean, unless you're doing this on the side while you still have a different full-time job. But that's a really different situation than what I'm talking about in this video. Anyway, if I just called you out and you're thinking now, oh shoot, I was thinking I was gonna have more time to do other stuff, then I will link above and down in the description an exercise with a video for planning out your ideal week, treating hours like dollars in a budget. If you're trying to fit 30 hours into every day, I really recommend doing that exercise. If you don't have time to do it right now, then subscribe and go watch it later. Okay. Number 3 is to be careful using learning as procrastination. If you are just starting out working for yourself, there's going to be a lot that you have to learn, but there's also a lot you have to actually do. So dedicate some time, like the first hour of every day, to learning, to watching those courses, but then when it ends, switch to actually doing. I really like using the first hour of the day because then I can have a nice relaxing breakfast while watching a course. And I don't delay starting that because it's lovely. And that really leaves me pumped to start my real workday. On to number 4, which is to have goals that you're excited about. Start with quarterly goals. A quarter is 3 months. 3 months is a lot of time. You can get a lot done. I always say, zoom out to plan, zoom in to execute. So zoom out to a quarter or even a year. Plan out all the things you'd like to get done in that time. And then break it down by month, and then break it down by week, and then break it down by day. When you first start out in your company 1 and you've got a blank calendar and big open days, it feels like just so much time. But once you do that goal planning exercise and break down how you're gonna actually make it happen, suddenly those days are gonna feel really full. I have a video on planning a week that goes a little deeper on this, the zoomed in executing side in particular. It's about turning that list of 100 things that you want done soon, but none of it actually has to get done today, and making a plan so you know, oh, actually these 3 things have to get done today because these other 3 things have to get done tomorrow, and Wednesday I'm out all day, and actually by Thursday it really needs to be done. So that means that it has to be done today. And lastly, number 5 is to be in tune with your own motivation. You are your own boss now, so the fear of getting fired isn't there to motivate you. And you're probably not getting paid hourly. You're probably working on stuff now that will lead to business income in the future or down the pipeline. And so money isn't really there to motivate you and get you to hustle like right now either. So you gotta learn a little bit about motivation and what it takes to keep yourself going. I have a 6-minute video about motivation that I've already made, so rather than repeat myself, I will link to it above and down below. If a few of the videos that I've mentioned have sounded interesting to you, then subscribe so you can find them later. So congrats on taking the leap of working for yourself. Yeah, it has ups and downs, but so does a regular job. We are the lucky ones who are building our dream lives. Thank you for watching to the end. Hug, and I will see you over in that motivation video. Ciao.